Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. Technology has the potential to help the profit-squeezed South African mining industry to start earning better margins again, while also possibly preventing labour problems and soaring wage demands. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer tells us more. Welcome, Martin.
Thanks so much, Shannon.
The CSIR's Janet McGill says South African gold and platinum producers will need to resort to robotic mining methods. Can you elaborate?
Everybody's looking and thinking out of the box at the moment because the industry, which has been the lifeblood of South Africa's economy, is under serious threat. And if we look at the hard rock mining situation, that is the gold and the platinum, they're virtually all underwater. They're all running at a loss. At the same time, you have labour making grandiose demands, and really the highest sort of demands we ever had, going up to 150% wage increase for entrants. So they've got to start thinking anew. And what the CSIR has come up with is robotics. They are saying, let us use robots to mine these hard rock mines. And already they have a safety platform, so they can work from there. They're hoping then to turn it into a production platform. There's still some way to go, but when you think of what has been done in other sectors, like the Anglo Gold Ashanti coming through with raise boring, they seem to be very far advanced at the moment. They are talking of it being a game changer for the hard rock industry. So people are they're in a generous mood at the moment. The industry is in a generous mood because Anglo Gold Ashanti could say, well, this new South African technology, as they call it, which mines the gold and only the gold, it can do it 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, so it's going to change the whole structure of the way we mine. We're not going to patent it. We see that South Africa needs this, so why not open it up to everybody? And of course, so you've got that magnanimous approach by the biggest gold miner in the country, saying bring in the platinum miners as well. Then you've got the CSIR, which is the government owned parastatal, saying, look guys, we're a long way down the road with robotics. We can even explain what sort of platform we think should go in. We can show you the robots, and we know that the military side has really gone in quite far with robotics. And so there's a lot of case studies to follow, and they feel that they could do something very special for the mining industry in the same way as there was a crisis in North American copper in the 60s and 70s, when the solvent extraction, electro-winning process had to come to the rescue. We need something to come to the rescue now. And we've got the CSR coming through with suggestions. We've got Anglo Gold Ashanti coming through with suggestions. And a lot of people talking mechanization, and some saying, look, jump right over the mechanization, right into automation, and let's do it once and for all.
How can robotics improve safety in mines?
If there's an accident or something already, they've got a safety platform that they can send down and see that people are rescued, with using robots to help the situation. And I think in the South American situation, we used raise boring machines to get those miners out. But there could be a lot of delivery mechanism with these robots. There could be a lot of extra activity, and this has already been demonstrated and seen to be feasible to actually use it in mine accident situation and for safety situation, getting this robotics platform into action.
Now, former Lonmin CEO Brad Mills says South Africa should have introduced mechanized mining years ago.
Now, Brad, when he took over Lonmin, he was one of the most far-thinking CEOs I've ever met. This fellow was looking 50 years, and he would say, I'm going to need to draw my labor from here. Look at San Francisco. Look what gold did to San Francisco. Let platinum do something for, the Northwest province. We're going to draw our labor here. Let's start with primary school education now, then primary school, then going to universities, just like we've got Wits University here, which was the result of mining activity. He wanted to do that there. And one of the areas that he tackled, and it wasn't him, the previous management had already started working on the extra low vehicles that you use for drillers, etc. But he really pushed it very hard. And I think because, mines have to report every quarter, and it's very, the shareholders get very restive. They don't want any delay in that profit flow, particularly, you know, if the price of platinum is good and everything, they expect their money. And if you've got to introduce something like that, you've got to do it very cleverly. And I think maybe they try to bring it in too quickly. But he's saying now, look, I had that idea. There's certain parts of those mines owned by Lonmin that lend themselves to mechanization. Let's, you know, introduce that now. And he believes that if it had been done earlier, we wouldn't have had all this restiveness with the Marikana. And because you've got minimally educated people now in large numbers, you know, carrying out the manual mining and the drilling, which is a very manually exhausted. The rock drill operators are key, and they're unskilled people. And it was around this area that the whole Marikana tragedy came out. And a lot of other factors with migrant labor and living out allowances, you know, it all added to it. But people are saying now, look, let's go ahead with more of a mechanization and even automation. And I think there is a listenership at the moment.
What happens with employment, though?
That's the thing. And, you know, I don't think it doesn't need to hurt employment. Because if you take a situation like AngloGold is trying to work with automation, they are saying from the highest level that we've socialized with the unions, we've informed them of this, and there will be natural attrition. You will lower the numbers by natural attrition. You won't have to release people. And you can also engage in reskilling. You know, you can put people into different skills because you've got so much of an opportunity to increase your revenue stream. You know, at the moment it takes workers so long to get to the rock face. They have only got a few hours to work and they've got to get out, because when the blasting takes place, they've got to be out of that mine. With what AngloGold Ashanti is organising now, there are no explosives. You know, it's a new system of raise boring. You know, you take out the gold and only the gold. Whereas with the existing methods, you take out a lot of non-gold, and that's very, very expensive. And then you refill it with a backfill so that Mother Nature doesn't know anything's happened. She thinks, well, you know, the gold is still there, but it's gone. And it's up on surface being processed. And because you can do it all the time, continuous mining has been a holy grail we can never reach here, because, you know, Labour was saying, look, guys, we need a weekend off. I mean, we don't want to do this. The whole system of migrant labour hasn't favoured continuous operation. But if you go for the automated route now, you know, you can have continuous operation. And what they will do is they will take that automation into areas that aren't in their reserves. So in other words, these are areas that have been mined out already. They've been mined out, and you bring these machines now back in to mine those pillars, etc. And you start showing everybody that this technology really works before you roll it out everywhere. At the same time, you speak to Labour and say, look, if we don't do this, you're going to have no jobs at all, because this place is going to close down. You know, we've got a gold price that is just plummeting. It's like going over a precipice. You've got people saying, look, we won't look at gold again. For a number of years, they see the American economy building up. They're not investing in it. So you've got to learn to mine at a very low gold price. And if you get this sort of technology to help you, you can do that. And ultimately, virtually everyone believes gold will come back. And, you know, you then get that better margin.
Well, it all sounds very exciting.
Very exciting. We just hope it can be implemented.
Thank you very much, Martin.
It's a great pleasure, Shannon.
That's the show for today. Join us again next time for more news and insight into what's happening in the mining world.